Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Digitalks with Tracy, and I am your host Tracy Joy Humphrey. Now, today's topic is actually inspired by the first letter of the month, A, and the word is algorithm. Have you ever heard about algorithms before? Maybe you're not working in an agency or you're not actively running any campaigns on digital platforms at the moment. I'm sure at some point in your research or your learning, some of you are doing courses in marketing. I'm sure at some point you might or may not have heard about algorithms. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to define what an algorithm is. I'm going to explain it in the most simplest way possible. And to help me do that, I've introduced cards. Yep, guys, I have props on the show now. So also, I don't think this is something I could explain just verbally. I think it's very important that I demonstrate it. So I'm going to do different parts of this video, and this counts as part one. So I also have my laptop with me because I want to make sure that what I'm explaining doesn't go off topic. Yeah? Okay, so what is an algorithm? I was watching a video by BBC Learning, and I loved how they explained what an algorithm is. Basically, and I'm going to read it from the laptop, an algorithm is a list of steps you give to computers for two reasons. One, to solve a problem, and two, to get something done. See how simple it is? A list of steps you give to computers to solve a problem or to get something done. It's literally just that. Now, an algorithm can also be explained as, sorry, I'm trying to read this example from Google, a step-by-step procedure to solve logical and mathematical problems. So this is where it starts to get a bit technical because now we're talking about numbers. Anyway, so try and imagine that you are trying to explain to someone how to prepare a meal. You would obviously give them what we call a recipe. A recipe is a good example of an algorithm. What is inside a recipe? You will have a list of ingredients to use because obviously the meal has to be prepared using certain ingredients. So the first thing you have is ingredients. The next thing is a step-by-step list of processes to follow so that one can prepare the meal. Now, it is very important that the right steps are explained and in the right order for you to be able to get the right results. So, just like a recipe, digital platforms also have their own algorithms. And these algorithms differ depending on the person who programmed them or set them up. So Facebook has its own algorithm, Instagram has its own algorithm, YouTube, Google, etc., etc. Now, algorithms are very important. You know why? Because as consumers, we are looking for content that is relevant to us, that meets a specific need, that actually triggers a certain emotion that we can relate with. So what these algorithms do basically is they ensure that whatever content pops up on our timeline or our newsfeed is actually content that we would love to see, or content that is similar to something we have interacted with before, or content that our friends and family or people close to us found interesting or meaningful, and we may or may not like it too. So you see, an algorithm cannot just look at one thing. It has several factors that it considers, and in today's video, I'm going to explain this in detail. Now, stay on for part two of the video because in part two, I'm going to be using these cards to explain how the algorithms work using a very simple example of numbers. And once you're done watching part two, in the third part of this video, I am going to talk about the things that Facebook and Instagram looks out for when it comes to ranking content. Because at the end of the day, if you want your content to get the best reach, the best engagement, you need to understand how the algorithms have been set up. Now, before I get to part 2, I'm going to repeat the definition of the word algorithm. It is a list of steps that you give to the computer for 2 reasons, either to solve a problem or to get something done.